Hello everyone, welcome back to the world of SQA. This is Tanbir Parvez and you are watching official YouTube channel of Nascenia. In the last video, we have discussed different types of testing. Today, we will learn about some very interesting things, which will include the UI, types of UI, and GUI testing. So, if we want to discuss about the UI, then we need some basic knowledge about UI. UI is the short form of user interface. A user interface, also sometimes called a human-computer interface, comprises both hardware and software components. It handles the interactions between the user and the system. In information technology, this can include display screens, keyboards, a mouse, and the appearance of a desktop. It is also the way through which a user interacts with an application or a website. There are 5 main types of UI. First one is command line interface, where the user issues command to the program in the form of successive lines of text, known as command lines. As an example, we may use the command prompt. The second one is menu-driven. This interface lets you interact with a computer or device by working your way through a series of screens or menus and submenus, which the user accesses by pressing buttons, often on a touchscreen devices. The ATM machines are very good examples of menu-driven UI. The next one is form-based. This interface uses text boxes, drop-down menus, text areas, checkboxes, radio buttons to create an electronic form which a user completes in order to enter data into a system. We may use Facebook sign-up form as an example. The next one is natural language UI. It is a spoken interface where the user interacts with the computer by talking to it, like Siri of iPhone and Cortana of Windows. The last one is graphical user interface, or the GUI. We will discuss about this elaborately in our next slide. Now let's discuss the graphical user interface. A GUI is an interface that uses icons or other visual indicators to interact with electronic devices, rather than only text via a command line. For example, all versions of Microsoft Windows is a GUI, whereas MS-DOS is a command line. GUI or graphical user interface provides the opportunity to interact with the computer using image rather than text. This slide contains the screenshots of graphical user interface or Windows and the command line interface. And graphical user interface or GUI testing is a process of testing an application's visual elements such as images, text, buttons, etc. to ensure proper functionality of the graphical user interface. In this image, we can see an SQL engineer has to manually click on the graphical buttons of this calculator and has to verify that the generated graphical outputs are corrected or not. Now let's discuss about its advantages. During this test, the SQL engineer must have to think like the end users. That's why it gives the opportunity to test the application from the user perspective. It also reduces the number of risks towards the end of the development lifecycle. One of the major advantages of GUI test is it validates the proper functionality of all the visual graphical elements. And finally, when an application passes the GUI test, then there is no doubt about its quality. Well, nothing comes as the ultimate blessings, right? Just like that, GUI testing has few disadvantages too. Nice looking designs are difficult to develop and also may require extra hardware support. Like high quality games requires a lot of device space and memory. Also, during this test, several new development tasks may be done. That's why it may require frequent retest process. And when you will perform GUI test, then you only have access to the visual contents. so you will have no option to know what is actually happening in the backend or in the source code. Now some questions arises here, like why should we perform GUI testing, or is it really needed? Why wasting time on UI testing if the functional testing is already being performed? If you think from user end, many users might not have any idea about the backend or the source code of the application. They can only see the graphical components. So when you will run the GUI test, then you will be able to feel exactly what the end users will feel. Besides that, the UI of an application ultimately decides if a user is going to use it further or not. So, to make the application user-friendly and popular, you must run the GUI test. Also, at first, the user will observe the looks and feel of the application. After that, they will use it functionally. It means you cannot guarantee that an application will be liked by the users just because it has passed the functional test process. GUI test helps to analyze current market value of an application. If your application successfully passed the GUI test, then it will be able to grab the attention of the end users in the market. So, the GUI test is one of the major and mandatory tests of SQA. So, dear viewers, from today's discussion, it is clear that the GUI testing is compulsory to make your app a successful one. In the next video, we will discuss more about the GUI test. Till then, take care and stay with us. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.